Hey everybody, Edo here, and today I want to talk about making games. I was thinking about the series I want to do on Kickstarters, and then I was thinking about my mechanics video and mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics, and I realized that there was this little bit of a gap between, the idea of a game, making it, and then doing a Kickstarter. So I wanted to do a quick video about that, and that's what this is. Hopefully people find it interesting and engaging. This isn't game specific, it's just the general process. Now, who am I, right, to speak about making games? Well, I've been making games my entire career, 15 plus years, independent, for companies, video games, card games, board games, dozens and dozens of products. And so that doesn't make me an expert per se, but it's what I'm passionate about. I absolutely love making things and making games and the whole process. And outside of my family, it's my hobby, my joy, my life, all of that. So, it's relevant work experience that I'm hoping to share with you. So, when you're thinking about making a game or you want to make a game, well, I'm sort of going to be specific to cards and board games, I think, but I think these are general. One thing that you really want to think about is what it is that you're good at, right? Being humble, being honest, understanding your skills is a critical part of making games, right? You might be fantastic at game mechanics. You might be an artist. You might be somebody who's more of a producer who's really good at a generalist, is really good bringing in specialists, bringing people who can work as a team and lead the team. You might be really, humorous. You might just be really good at making things. You're not like crafting it, right? So there's all these different skills that go into game making, and you understanding what it is that you're good at, what it is that brings you joy in life, is a huge part of having the energy, the steam, and just that wonderful feeling from making games. And it's important to know, you might not know it, right? So making games is a great way, you want to do it, you might be good at this, you might not be good at that, and making games is a way to learn. You might not know until your third game or your fourth game or your 10th game what it is you're actually good at. It's just important that you need to know that, and you should be introspective as you go and figure it out, right? The other thing that's really important as you're starting a project, as you're thinking about it, again, something you can learn over time is what's your objective? What are you trying to do? Are you just trying to make something? Are you aspiring for a game to be on a shelf? Do you want recognition? Are you trying to make money? Sit there and actually think about it. And again, you might not actually know the answer to these questions, but taking the moments, the walk, however you go about figuring things out in life, sit there and think about it, because as you start making games, you have tons that you need to do with other people. You need to work and focus on your projects. You need to, if you're going to do a Kickstarter, it's just this huge time and devotion, and understanding what you bring to the table and what you're trying to get out of it is so fundamental. Who cares about the mechanics? Who cares about, know who you are and what you want. Can't stress that enough, okay? So, now, you're making a game. You're thinking about you want to make a game. Maybe you have a starting point, maybe you don't. 2 points. First point is you got to find the fun, or the magic, or the golden nugget of joy, right? Fun is different to different people. The fun could be how the systems interplay. It could be the complexity of cards, or the narrative, or it could be a dexterity game, right? Or it could be a sense of adventure, exploration, discovery, learning, competition, right? There's all sorts of fun. But knowing what you're trying to what type of fun you're trying to make or have, or the aesthetic, right, is a big part of that. And maybe you don't know what the fun is, but then you should find the fun fast. Like fail quickly, find the fun. Find the fun. The sooner you have a game that has something fun, the foundation of entertainment, of engagement, of that wonderful thing that draws us all into playing and making games, you then want to build on it. And sometimes you think the fun's over here, you're making all this, but then you want to be able to follow that morsel of the fun over there, and you go from making a lightweight, casual game to a heavy-duty simulation, or you think it's going to be all about story, but the mechanics are so strong that people don't care about story, or vice versa, right? So figuring out and finding that thing that makes your game special, engaging, fun, delightful is key. And It can be anything, right? People enjoy different things. You can have different types of fun. Don't let somebody say it has to be this way, it has to be that way. But just know, really, like in most cases, you got to figure out what the it is, right? Okay. I kept talking about what people want, what they, different people have different perspectives. The next most important thing, and again, this is just, I'm trying to give overall perspective, to each their own. If you're doing it, keep on doing it. I can point to success all over the field in every way, right? But you want to find the fun. You want to know what's important, what's valuable, that nugget of your game. And then you want to know who it's for. Are you making the game for yourself? If you're making your game for yourself, well, who are you, right? Are you, 38-year-old, 40, 60-year-old male? Are you female? Are you a teenager? Are you, what's your background? What are you, a hardcore gamer, casual? What types of games do you like if you're making it for you, or if you're making a game for parents or for kids? Don't think about who you envision playing the game, because there's such that correlation between the type of fun and the audience, right? Again, and that audience could be you. You could just be making your game for yourself, or you could be making your game for your team, right? I don't want to suggest in any way that creating something needs to be about making a product or making money. You don't have to do that. You can. You can do a Kickstarter. You can go to a publisher, right? But understand the magic of what you're making, and understand who you want to experience it. Those are so fundamental, and it's so easy to forget that. It's so easy to chase mechanics. It's so easy to chase themes. Anytime you've seen a game that has a theme that doesn't match the mechanics, like this is hardcore, but it's really bright and colorful, something happened. Something didn't work out. So keep those two things in mind. Again, whatever mechanics, all fun, audience, right? Okay, so back up for just a second. Know what you're good at. Know what you want. Find the fun. Know who you're making it, who you're giving it to. Okay. Last 2 points, right? Making a game takes commitment. It takes time and commitment and effort. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's hard. But it's a long thing almost all the time. Sometimes it's not. Maybe some people here and there just figure it out. It happens. Some games I've made have done really quick. Some have taken forever, right? But over time, I've come to appreciate that it's the journey. It's the adventure. It's the learning and exploring the idea, the design, who you're working with, getting to know your teammates, working with them, it's the whole journey. Especially as your journey goes from making the game to running a Kickstarter to publish it to fulfilling it to get it, it's a big thing, and it's really important that you enjoy the moments of it, because games are entertainment, and if you're bringing it to the market, it's a hit-driven business. It's very much what's on the market, how do people feel, what was just released, all that stuff. It's really easy to have something that misses for no good reason. And there's plenty of good reasons for it to miss too. But if you get so caught up in the end, you're working hard, and you don't enjoy the travels, it's gone. And it's just that moment when you can just have reward and fulfillment all the way along. This is sort of like touchy-feely, how is this relevant to making games? But I really think enjoying the what it means to make, the experiences you have, is so important. I, for one, also, I love working with people and working on products, and don't think, when people talk about, what is my role, what is your role, how much you're getting paid, all those details, if you can have fun and engage it, there's so many opportunities out there, there's so many cool things to do. So the journey, okay? And finally, for me at least, and I think it's really important to understand, certainly with big teams, is assuming you're not just making your game to put in an envelope and under your bed. Assuming you're not just, making the game for yourself. There is so much joy that you can get and feel from the experience of others playing your game, the joy that they're having. And you're, as an individual or as a team, putting in hours and hours and hours and hours into making a game. Let's say you put 1,000 hours. I don't even think that's near the amount, but let's just say you put 1,000 hours, right? Put 1,000 hours into a game, and let's say you go to Kickstarter and you have 1,000 backers, and they all play for 1 hour. Well, your 1,000 hours was just met like that. It was just met. And most people aren't playing a game once. Let's say they play it, I don't know, 5 times. It's because it's good, because you cared about it. Well, suddenly your 1,000 hours is met by 5,000 hours of fun and engagement and joy, right? But most people who don't play games, especially board games, by themselves, they're playing them in a group of 4 people. Well, now we're talking about 20,000 hours, and it just goes on. The being a creator, being somebody who makes, being somebody who puts their heart and soul into a product and takes it along and brings it to others and lets others enjoy it, it's incredible. The rewards are huge, and it just so quickly dwarfs the effort. It so quickly dwarfs. And if you can connect with that community, this is what I love about board games and Twitter and Facebook, if you can hear how they're playing and enjoying it, for Gem Pact and the Siblings Trouble that just came out, hearing about a dad playing with his daughter, or family playing, or a bunch of adults pretending they're kids in Goonies, like, that's a memory. You've pushed something out there, and they've taken that, and that's a part of their lives, and you're adding to the overall positive experiences, right? And that is hugely rewarding, right? So, to recap, and then I'll close. Know what you're good at. Know what you want. Find the fun. Know who it's for. It's a journey, and the amount of joy for all that efforts can just be exponential to what you put into it. And it's wonderful. You should do it. Do it now. And don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to learn, right? Don't be afraid to not know the answers to any of these questions, but pay attention as you go. Thanks.